Hello everyone and welcome to a much darker looking FOTN review. I thought this one was going to be a bit shiny but it looks cloudy. FOTN obviously stands for Figures of the North. I think I've used that acronym before. FOTN stands for It's a Repeated Joke. Anyway, yeah, this was for the fight of the night at UFC Fight Night Hunt versus Olenek at the Olimpiyskiy Stadium in Moscow, Russia. The first time the UFC has ever been to Russia. And for the purposes of comedy, I am not going to adopt a Russian accent because, for one thing, I'm bad at most accents. For another thing, it might sound racist. And for a third thing, I think it'll just be funny if I use my own voice because I sound weird enough anyway. And the fight of the night in question is Petr Yan, not Peter Yan, as a lot of people, as I'm very tempted to say, I'm going to call him that anyway, I think, against Jin Soo Son. And interestingly, it was one of two fights that went over the catchweight limit as Jin Soo Son. It was a bantamweight fight, and the limit was 136 pounds. Jin Soo Son came in at 137, so he had to forfeit some of his money to Peter Yan. The other fight, which I'm just going to talk about in terms of the catchweight thing, was Marbek Toysmov against Desmond Green. Toysmov beat Desmond Green, but Toysmov also came in 5 pounds over the weight limit at 161 when he could have come in at 156 because it was a lightweight fight. So, yeah, but we're not going to talk about that one. We're going to talk about this one and why it was a really good fight. Because to be honest, yeah, it was a really good fight. Before I do talk about how good the fight is, though, I do have two little complaints. Well, it's just the one complaint. I did have two complaints earlier, but now it's just the one. I couldn't really find a good version of this fight to watch online, and during the initial exchange, like within the first 7 seconds between the fighters, the video pauses for like 10 seconds and then continues, and like, I say the video paused. The video itself paused, but the audio and everything else was completely fine. Like you could hear the commentators, you could hear the sounds of the blows landing, you could hear the crowd cheering and stuff. That was all, you could hear all that. But the problem was you heard it about 10 seconds before the video actually showed it happening. So that did ruin the watching experience for me, which is a shame because, bugging me, this fight was really good. I placed on par with last week's fight as being, maybe in my top 10 of the year. It was just a really, really fun fight. Petr Yan, I'm going to be saying that, I don't even give a shit. Won by unanimous decision. It was a close one. To be honest, there really isn't a lot that I can detract from the fight except for the 10-second thing that delayed it, because the fight itself was really good, so we're just going to break it down round by round as best as I can. So round one starts, they have their initial exchange, and for the most part, standing up, it's fairly even, with Jin landing slightly... Jin's jab is his best weapon, and Petr Yan uses a few more leg kicks in round one. Things change when Son goes for a takedown, and Yan blocks well, but eventually is taken down. And Jin Soo Son does win points mostly based on his wrestling, but his striking was really, really good as well. And to be honest, even when it went to the ground, it wasn't an unexciting fight. It was still, there was still a lot of action on it. It was still quite fast-paced. It was still really enjoyable, and the crowd were getting into it. And when the fight was standing back up, Petr Yan used his boxing because he is an Olympic-level boxer, or he was going to be, then he had an accident and broke his hands, which is not something a boxer is going to sit well with, to be honest. It's like being a Taekwondo practitioner but having your legs broken. It's the same sort of thing. But yeah, this was a really, really good first round. Fairly even. I'd probably say this was Son's best round in the entire fight. I definitely feel like he took this one a little bit more, but I do still feel like he lost the round as a whole. But very narrowly. Round two was a lot more of a stand-up war. Like Petr Yan especially was landing a lot of really, really good shots. He landed some good body kicks. He landed a good body kick in round one. He landed some really good punches as well. His boxing combinations were on point, especially his uppercut. There was a great moment where Son went for another takedown, and Yan landed an uppercut, then a van left, then another uppercut. There were just amazing boxing exchanges between the two. It was just really, really good old-fashioned slugging, and Petr Yan landed the better of it. By the end of the fight, his strike count did reach triple digits, whereas Jin Soo Son reached less than half of what Yan had. But you really wouldn't think it, considering how energetic Son was. Like, Korean fighters in general have a tendency to be sort of wackier in the UFC and in the octagon and stuff. But Jin Soo Son was smiling, and he was, he was just shrugging things off so casually, which is weird because there was a great moment where they were in the clinch and Yan landed a great bunch of punches in the single collar tie-up, and then there was an early moment in round 2 as well where Yan had Son in a Muay Thai clinch and broke out of it and landed a spinning back elbow, and Son was rocked by it, but then he recovered and still went on fighting anyway, landing a great jab. His left hand, Son's left hand, was a really, really good weapon for him. Wasn't the only weapon he had though. Like, he landed left overhands as well. He had some really, really good kicks. Good right hands as well. He followed up the left with the right, which was quite good. Round 3 was probably the best round of the entire fight. It was just pretty much all a stand-up war. In round 2, Son did take down Yan again. I forgot to mention that. Son did take down Yan with 2 minutes left to go and mostly dominated in that position before Yan got back up and they finished the fight on the feet. Round 3, yeah, pretty much all the stand-up war. There was a lot more exciting moments, just a lot of really, really huge shots from Yan, especially. His boxing was so fucking crisp and clean and really, really fun to watch. Like, I really enjoyed it, and it was clear by the end. Even if I didn't know the result going in, I still would have had Yan winning it anyway. Like, I feel like he definitely did more in rounds 2 and 3 than he did in round 1. He slightly pinched round 1, even though I still think that's Jin Soo Son's strongest round in the entire fight. Jin Soo Son still had moments in rounds 2 and 3, just not enough to completely divide the scores a bit more evenly, because it was 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28. The 29-28 is easily round 1. You know. So, yeah. This wasn't a super grueling fight like the last one was, but this was a lot more of a fun fight. This is probably the most fun fight I've seen all year, maybe. At least in recent memory. I'm just glad that the Fight of the Nights, at this point in the year, now actually starting to feel Fight of the Night, because there was like a 4-month period where everything that got Fight of the Night was like, oh, I'll watch it. And it just didn't feel like it, you know? But this fight was not that case. It was just so much fun, it was a blast. The respect shown between Yan and Son especially was great. Especially in round 1 when Yan accidentally poked Son's eye. And, Son, like, he just shrugged it off. He was like, it's okay, it happens all the time. And it does, sadly. And Petr Yan didn't even mean to poke him in the eye. He just pushed his palm up as he was moving away a bit. And his pinky finger, I think it was, slipped into Son's eye. It happened. And a good shout out, I think, goes to Mark Goddard, because he was the ref for this fight, and he is an amazing ref, and he did such a great job officiating this one, so kudos to him. Yeah, all in all, really enjoyed this fight. It could be in my top 10 of the year. It was just exciting, it was fun, it was great to see both guys enjoying themselves, especially Son. Like, it was very hard to see the smile not on his face. He was just having a lot of fun in there, and I really like it when a fighter actually has fun, especially in a fight that's going to be Fight of the Night, you know? So, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of problems. The only main issue I have was the 10-second delay, because I couldn't really find a good version of it to watch online. I'm trying to think of that other problem I had with it now, but I think it's been rendered moot by this point, because I just enjoyed the fight so much. So, yeah, I'll see you all on Thursday for the next Ultimate episode review. Pretty much done with this UFC Fight of the Night thing. It was just a fun blast of a fight. I liked it. If you can find it, then watch it. If you can find a better version of it, then link me, maybe, so I could watch that version of it, so I could follow the action a bit better than just like, boom, big thing happening, 10 seconds later. The video actually shows it happening. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me. See you all Thursday. And I promise I'll get back to work on the next Wild Concept episode, I promise. Thank you for listening, you're awesome, bye bye.